All right, welcome back, everybody. Today is Monday, May the 1st. We were just listening in on the Niken kickoff call. Reminders of the incentives that are happening this quarter that everyone can win. Top dog, top two positions, automatic team Kaizen, automatic trip to Japan. Guess what I learned last night at dinner with Mr. Foley? I didn't know this. I didn't know that if you have yourself and your significant other on the Niken distributor app, that both of you guys go to Japan. That's interesting. That's exciting. Pardon me?
You just need a significant other.
You just need a significant other. Yeah, well, hey, that's interesting. And the other thing is, if you win it more than one time, it just extends your qualifications for Team Kaizen into the following years. Again, this was all news to me last night, so I'm kind of interested and excited about that. Hey, I just signed.
Get busy, Madeline.
Well, I just sponsored someone today after this weekend, so that's great news for me, because that, I think, is a pretty good indication that I'm getting on the wagon to start breaking my silvers. So, and that's really what comes next. But if you recall, last week I asked you to just take one or two significant points that you obtained from this event so that we can share it with those who were not at the event. And just for the sake of having it recorded for those who want to watch the playback, I can speak bundles about it. The one thing I can tell you that I'm super, super excited about is the fact that we now have a tool supplier, Life in Balance Tools. Yeah, they did a phenomenal job at putting together real tools. So let me show you what they look like. We have our incredible incentive brochure. This is a lightweight, something you can flip through, compensation plan, and the incentives that were being discussed just on this call. But there you go. So now you can actually sit there and show somebody what it looks like to be in the business and start doing the business. And here's your business plan, essentially. We have a one-on-one tool, so you can sit down with somebody and say, hey, why we do this is more important than what it is. So before we get into what it is, can we have this conversation about some important things? And it's a very simple card, again, lightweight, and you can leave it behind. They're designed to be a leave behind. On the flip side of this is one of two things. It's either a training tool. It certainly keeps this process top of mind, the one that we've been going over, the 3 conversations of why, how, and what. And then, of course, you can just share this information with somebody in your one-on-one. Say, what I'd like to do is walk you through an information process, at the end of which you're going to decide what feels right for you, either as a consultant, as a customer, maybe as a partner, or maybe just someone who leads me to one of these. Then we've got our core consultant piece. And this is also part of the how we do what we do, because it talks about the process that Niken has put in place, which is, again, a very advanced but hybrid model for our business. The fact that the company delivers and drop ships direct to consumers through our web portal, and all we do is share it and inform people. And then basically what it means to be a core consultant, the things that you're going to be engaged in as a professional who's building a Niken business. Again, nice top of mind, something to give and hand out. One of my faves is a piece that came from a tool that was developed many moons ago in a system called UCube that I had a big hand in developing. And this is going to be, I think, one of the more popular, useful tools, the $1 Million List. We keep talking about how important it is to have a contact list, but we never see anybody's contact list. This also helps them qualify their contact list into categories: entrepreneurial, influential, resourceful, and whether they're someone who lives within an hour or 2 radius of you. So we can get our 100 names list finally established. And then on top of that, the strategy 3x3. However, with one caveat. It shows here 9 people that we sponsor lead to 3 partners. And then it even shows the customers. Those little circles there are the customers. Whoops, wrong side there. And then same thing down below. But to remind you again of the process, it's also right here. So essentially how you use this tool is we're going to use this $1 million list. We're going to move people through a process, whoops, over here. And this is going to be the result of that activity. When do you want to get started? All in one piece of paper is the entire layout of the business strategy. And then finally, how do we keep people plugged in, connected, learning, growing, and so forth? A nice, solid card you can just put a magnet and attach it to your refrigerator. It's the Niken Connect, and it has the various ways to connect, which includes the Aligning with Success call and exactly when and where you'll find them in the schedule. So again, what an important piece. One of the things that people need to know is that they're going to have support. We could talk about it, but there's nothing like having something in their hand that they can look at, and it's right there. And of course, these documents, by the way, can be revised with the company that we're working with, because they do short runs. They do what they call print on demand. So we do pay a little bit more for this, but you're not going to beat the quality. It's exceptional quality. And gosh, I left them downstairs. But
Where are these available, Mike?
lifeinbalancetools.com. lifeinbalancetools.com. I'm going to make an announcement on email just after this. But there's one other really cool thing. How many of you got a copy of the product catalog? Can somebody hold one up? I left mine downstairs. Do you have a copy? Did anybody bring one with them home?
I got them. I got a bunch. Just one sec.
Yeah, this is sweet. This is a really nice, very substantive, I can't say the word, but you know what I'm saying, catalog. It's very high quality paper, and it's bound like a book so that it really, there it is. And so the Niken catalogs are now available in the US and Canada, same place, lifeinbalancetools.com. So for me and Ben, I can tell you right now, this is a breakthrough. We do have one other tool that is already going to be. There's a few typos in it, but this is also available. It's a one-on-one brochure, the trifold. Essentially, it walks you through the story. You've been here about a bunch of this, but we're also already thinking about how to improve upon that. So that's next task for us this week, myself and Ben. But to have tools that are oriented around the building of a business will help you reacquaint yourself with the building of the business habits, the things that we do when we're building the business, which is not quite the same as retailing products. So we're super excited about having these tools. I can't tell you how excited I am to have them. I hope you guys feel the same way, because it was literally a miracle to make this thing happen in time for the event. And it was a real nice gesture on Niken's part to give us the green light. They gave us the green light to go ahead. There's also T-shirts available and things with the Niken logo and baseball caps. All of that, I was authorized last night. So it's really great to have the nod and not the, which we were accustomed to having. So also to have the catalog made available. Kurt instructed his staff to provide us with high resolution PDF so we could go ahead and get this printed. So it's a new day, guys. It's so huge. It's so different when you have tools to build a business. I'm so excited that we got it in time, that you all had a chance to pick some up, those of you who were there, and see what they look like in your hands. So we'll come back to this. I'd like to take just a few minutes then from those of you who are at the event and see if you can share with us one, let's keep it short so we can get a chance for everybody to speak. One or two of those things that were the golden nugget from the weekend for the benefit of those who were not there. Anyone? Who would like to go first?
I will. It's Mary Ellen Mason.
Let's have it, Mary Ellen Mason.
It was powerful. It was synergy It was heart.
Well, that's your
Yeah.
impression, but what did you take away from it? If there's one or two things that you took away from this that are something that someone can apply with respect to getting their life in order, their balance and their business going.
Well, those tools, exactly those tools you showed. I've scanned and emailed to someone already, and we've got a call scheduled for tomorrow morning. So that's how quick they can work.
Okay.
So the tools were great, and I got a tidbit from Bernadette about recording the event, which I have recorded events before, and just how powerful that is to be able to play it back and listen to it. Because you can take notes and things, but things just go too quickly sometimes, and so that's what I did on the plane. I just played back lots of the conversations that
Okay.
I list that were from stage, and they're just getting, set deeper and deeper and deeper in.
Okay, that's a good instruction in terms of what to do when you're at an event, how to record one, and definitely conversations. I can't tell you how many times I've done ABC calls and a person says, darn, I should have recorded this. Yeah, you probably should have. So make a habit of doing that. I just want to make another helpful. The events, launch partners have been instructed to post their launch events along with uploading their flyer onto the NECAN calendar. We now have a singular link that we can send somebody and they see the entire NECAN calendar. So we're going to be able to do that, but I'm going to put it on the hands of the launch partners to upload it for themselves because you got to go in your back office and do that. But then it's going to show up on the public calendar, which is really cool because then you'll see all the things that are happening in NECAN at one-stop shop sort of thing. Okay, thanks, Mary Ellen. Anyone else? What's your takeaway from this event?
Mary Robson?
Yes, Mary.
I am so grateful that I went. I truly am grateful. The tools are fabulous. I used them already, but there's so many talks, and you are only limiting me to two. So Julie Tara's, it's slipping and getting yourself up, and she, her personal story was amazing about, how many times she fell and got up in her ballet performances, and so it was just so powerful, and it came from the heart, and I just still is in my mind. And the other one, another one. Gary Bolton was fantastic in the way he explained how to make money, using online. But he reminded us, 70% of all sales still come from, one-to-one or physically contacting people. But what he said for me that was very powerful, he said, I thought he was such an expert in all of this social media. He said he wasn't. So if he can do it, I can do it. And he also said, find the people. If you're weak in one area, find the people who are strong. So I thought, I'm going to now look for people who can, use Instagram and make some money through that. And so that was powerful. And I'll shut up now.
That was Mary Robson incognito.
Sorry, Michael. I can't do it.
Just turn. There you go. You see that? Wow.
I'm so sorry. I've been working on this for half an hour.
Oh my. All right.
Sorry. I apologize.
That's all right. Hi, anyone else who would like to share your personal nuggets from this event? Again, there are some of you on this call who weren't there, so what can you give them as an insight? You guys are pretty knowledgeable consultants. So what's your insight that came from that event? Any one or two nuggets?
This is Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, and Julie Tara held up a book, PEMF Pulse, electromagnetic field. And she said, we come from a world of energy medicine, and now there are 100 million times more radiation than our grandparents had, is what we're getting, and that we need Nican for protection, for that increase. That's powerful information to share. How and Randy Rolfe, in her talk on the panel, was saying that she was dealing with the Native Americans and the electric power, whatever. She found out that at the same time she was fighting for them, Nican was developing the technology to protect them. And that brought tears to her eyes. And so that's a powerful thing that I got.
Very cool. Thank you for that. It was, by the way, for those who want to get sort of a feel for the event, it was a really down-to-earth event. The last thing we wanted was a hypey event, rah, rah, rah. And people were commenting right after the first session how they felt that this was not that, and they were really appreciative of that because it was really well planned. There were 3 segments, 3 definitive days, and each one or segments, the first night and the first day, and then the subsequent Saturday was broken into 2 segments, but each one had content. And it was designed to deliver very strong content for building the business, beginning with I kicked off the event with generating an understanding for the context of the launch partners, the need for that, the world tour, and how they interact and become a platform for people to rise, yet leverage the benefit of the collaborative experience of a world movement defined by the launch partners. We got a chance to also have lunch as launch partners, which was really great because I liked being able to tell people on stage, if you're not invited, you don't get to come. Nah, 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 nah. So because we want to encourage, my role was to encourage people to not only understand the nature of this concept, but to enroll, to become a launch partner and start developing your calendar. It was astounding. I'm not sure if any one of you were going to mention this, but it was astounding to learn that the number of events in the first quarter in Latin America, according to Lisa Kasuga, was over 1,000 by 900 individual Nican consultants in Latin America. Our number, by the way, was 152. 152 events in our first quarter. But it's certainly not 1,000, so you know where we need to go, which means we need more than 50 or 70 or whatever we are right now as launch partners to make that happen. So you want to consider that. Yes, Madeline.
Well, that's what I'd like to share. What content has been the last 18 months for me?
We're not getting your volume as well.
Not getting my volume as well. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So the first 3 months of this year, building upon being involved in these Zoom trainings and events and so forth, is all the alliances, Michael. The 2 WhatsApps, the Platinum Alliance one, this one, sharing events and so forth. We formed on the East Coast here a Launch Central. So there were people that were approaching us and what were we doing for organizing the events that we did. And then as a result of that, I joined a planning session that was being put together. And I see where Peter Gibson is on here this evening with the group down at Gary, and Molly is now in Georgia, and Sherry Danzig. So we kind of joined that group. And then tonight on our planning call, Peter joined us as well as Dr. Sussman, and we had 23 people. So they already have their events planned for the 4 months, and we have several of ours planned. We just have a few more going. So that synergy and sharing with one another.
Give me 1 second. I need to mute that line. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so it feels like, and we're going all the way into the end of the year, not just, looking ahead to before and after San Antonio. So it's not just planning, it's planning with people that we've been working with and we have relationships with, and we've truly helped one another. And I've shared this enough other times before. It's that we're one big team. It's not who belongs to, you know, which Royal Diamond, and Mary Helen Dean is on here. And we had a little discussion about that this morning also, in pulling together and having you, as what we're supposed to do is to duplicate from this process. So there are lots of new alliances forming and collaborative ventures, and it's pretty exciting. So what we want are bigger events on the east side of the Mississippi. You know, why does it always have to be Orlando? And travel for some people has been difficult. So a real big event, a quarterly event in Atlanta, maybe in August, and in the Great Lakes region. Before or after, I had already asked Ben if he would stop, and he said that he would. So we don't know what his travel tour is yet, but either before or after going to San Antonio. So that part's exciting, to have some regionally for people that may not want to go, you know, like from British Columbia all the way to Florida, or from the Northeast to Salt Lake City in the middle of winter or whatever, to have some other event. So it just felt like the relationship building and the intent on expanding the branding and being part of having our company grow, and that it wasn't all just the Royal Diamonds up there. It was really very nice to have the opportunity for those of us that have worked hard to practice. You know, we're supposed to practice in order to walk like, think like, act like, and perform like. And so that part and that recognition, I think, and from listening to others that were there, it made the event also very different.
I also want to congratulate you guys for keeping on point. Not everyone did, but most of you did, because you're not a Royal Diamond. So you you stayed on point. But that was very helpful too, to stay on point and stay on time. So thank you for that. Thank you, Madeline, for that insight. Anyone else? Cheryl, you got your hand up.
Yeah. Sorry, am I muted or am I?
You're good.
Mute? Good. I came in late because the corporate call went a little long. So someone may have mentioned this already. I did hear Carol say one of them about the what Julie had mentioned about the radiation with our grandparents and whatnot. But the other one that kind of jumped out at me, was what Anton said about the infinity loop and with your goals, and that it's always it's always continuing and flowing and growing. So sometimes we get our big goals that are way out there and you can't quite relate to it. And so you kind of get caught up in that, how am I going to get there? When just the way he kind of explained it made you kind of think about it's okay to be in those baby steps or the stair step levels along the way. So
in other words, Niken's got it right?
Yes. Yeah.
This incentive program?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just the way he talked about the loop, that it's just going to keep going and going and going. We're just moving on an upward staircase. So no, it's perfect. But just also to add to that, and you've touched on it too, about the event itself not being hyped and all of that. If we could bottle that event, because I think it's the best one that I've ever been to in terms of content, and there was not one moment where, you know, I was doing the head bob from being tired or whatnot. I was focused and tuned in the whole time. And for guests coming or wanting to bring guests, if you knew that's what they were going to get, because for all the newbies coming, it's going to be new to them. And for us seeing it over and over again, I wouldn't mind it at all. But just the way the flow went, the content, the synergy, the collaboration of all you leaders, I mean, it was, if we all had, which, you know, we should have had all guests there, they would be locked in. And
as a matter of fact, yeah, we did have guests. Many of us had guests, and they all were locked in.
Yeah.
I don't know of one that didn't. In fact, we even had some break rank.
Yeah. But with saying that, I guess if all the events, because you don't have control on that, but I mean, you are collaborating with those other leaders for the other events that do go on. if we knew that that's kind of what's going to be there, because you don't know how it's going to go off or what the next one is going to go off like, but that would just be awesome.
But I don't think I've ever been to a Nikken event where we didn't regret, or I didn't hear people say, I regret I didn't have more people there.
No, I don't. And that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. But I mean, we need to learn that point. That needs to be a point where this team is concerned. There is no second guessing that the more people you have at an event, there's a direct reflection on what your business is going to look like 3 months and 6 months from that event. So it has a huge, especially this kind of an event, has a huge impact. And I got to tell you, it was me, primarily Ben, me, and Susan Carver who put the agenda together.
It was excellent.
And we just wanted it to be substantive. Oh, I can't even say that word. Have substance. and so, yeah. And by the way, just another footnote with respect to how our CEO views and Jeff Isom views this world tour. It is, in their opinion, the best thing we've got going.
Great.
From a field perspective. So they're very proud and very happy to be supportive of this. That's why I think they've sort of loosened some of the grip on the materials, letting us do the publications that we did.
Great.
Anyone else want to share? Hey, Ray, you might want to put a shirt on. It's okay. I can control this. See you, Ray. Wow. We're just talking about being professional. By the way, okay, I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. Jump in. We got 5 minutes left. I do want one more thing to mention, but go ahead.
Okay.
Anyone? Yes, Dean.
I think it was Bernadette who said, if we don't get results, ask, what am I thinking? Which goes along with the law of attraction that you talk about all the time. You know, that's just sort of where it starts. And then Brody talked about back to basics. Get stuff, go to stuff, take people to stuff, and don't quit. And let's see, I think it was Ruth Lowe maybe talking about her conversation with Veronica at the event in Mexico. Be clear what you are looking for, set the intention, and look for people who complement your skills versus looking for people who are like us, so that we get that well-rounded, balanced team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you acted like the CEO of Nikken, which really you are the microcosm of that, right? We are all independent business owners. We're all developing a business as a microcosm to the main business. Although we don't have the responsibilities of the main business, we do have a responsibility. What we need to recognize is that the viability of this business is not up to Nikken. I want to repeat that because it's important this group really takes this to heart. The viability of Nikken is not up to Nikken. It's up to us to grow the business and make the business profitable so that they can do the things that they like to do. The trips, the vacations, the incentives, the rewards. Those things come when there's prosperity. But when you got to tighten the purse strings, then you lose some of those things that you take for granted. So I want to remind everyone here that it's go time. We as individuals have to be fully present and fully cognizant of the fact that we are Nikken. And those of you who are at this event, you saw it. You saw this is a reflection of who's really in. It's a small but really centered group. So here's the springboard. We're it. We're we're the determining factor as to whether Nikken thrives or dives. And so we really got to get our gumption up and our attitude up toward this and our responsibility, take on that responsibility to be the one who's dropping the pebbles. It's not up to somebody else. It's not going to happen because of somebody else. If it's up to, we've got to take that personal responsibility. I got time for one more, and then I'm going to just drop one more nugget for you. Anyone?
Hello, good evening all. This is Sherelle. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can.
Good. I just wanted to say I realized the importance of attending these events, because there are things that you get there that you can't really convey. To experience them is the way to go. And I will say I was able to speak with quite a few people that were there as guests that said you can feel these people, they're from the heart. And it's, I've been in other companies, I've been to other previews and launches and things like that, and it's all very scripted. And they didn't get any of that at the event in Orlando.
Very good. Thanks, Cheryl. You know what? You sort of led me to the point that I wanted to make. One of our favorite speakers, certainly myself, Ben, Kurt, was Alejandra from Mexico. I think she did a phenomenal presentation. And what she was showing was her business and how her business operates, which I have a language for. It's called the rhythm of the business. So she has her weekly events, her monthly events, her quarterly events, the events that she taps into with Niken, which happen on a semi-annual and annual basis. So she's very clear, as are the Mexican leaders, about how to run their business. And she treats it very much like her business. She has her own team, even though she's part of the KOI team, which is a larger team, but each one duplicates their role as leaders. They have their own WhatsApp chat for their team. They have their own presentations, or she has, for instance, a monthly gathering of her leaders, and she showed photographs of when she first started it and where it's at right now, how it's grown to a point where they can't do it in her living room anymore. Now they're doing it over at Niken's head office and so forth. So the idea that this really brings to home is what Cheryl was just saying, and that is we're in the people business. We're in the relationship business, and you can feel people when you're around people, the energy, the vibe of that the essence of that. So gatherings, meetings, it is not passé. Forget about what other people try to convince you. Oh, no, we don't do that anymore, because we're social animals. We have to. It's the nature of human beings. And the other thing is, it's what we want. It's what we want. This is a group of people who like to connect with like-minded people. Let's create that experience for other people because they're missing it. The world has become so robotic and remote that this is actually a pleasant experience. So let's make our gatherings frequent. Have a barbecue. Doesn't have to be official or formal. Do things on a social level and make that part of your life. Make the Niken business socially part of your life. So it's not just you're wearing your business hat. Make it fun. People enjoy being around people who are fun. That was one of the points that she underscored on every event. It's fun. Every event is fun. Fun was the key factor in every event. So evaluate your events. We now have a process for putting events on the scoreboard, to register those events. And now let's take a shot at getting really good at what happens at those events. What's the experience people come away with when they're at those events? That ought to be something that we make a real diligent effort to improve. Not only the number of events, but what happens at those events so that people walk away and say, that was not only informative, a lot of fun. So with that, guys, I'm traveling to Colombia. And so this coming Monday and the following Monday, I'll be in Peru. I don't think I'm going to be accessible. I'll let you know if I can be. I'll just announce that there will be an Aligning with Success call. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask someone to take that role for me on next Monday. So there will be a call. I just won't be hosting it. I may jump in if I can, but there will be a call. I'll get you somebody who can pick up the next call and keep the rhythm of this Aligning with Success call going. I think that's really, really important. People are going to get that Niken Connect page. They want to know that they can connect. All right. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for your participation. Look forward to seeing you on the Niken Highway at any one of your launch partner events for the World Tour, the Active Wellness Tour. Please get your flyers in for your upcoming events. Take stock of it. These I just got dates flying at me, so it's going to get busy. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
Via con Dios, Michael.
Thank you.